Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me again. It's TeaRon. That's TeaRon, period. And you are listening to another episode of the Ubiquitous Blacks podcast. What I am excited about today and the people that I'm excited to be talking to is a first, I must say. This is the first time that I'm having on someone that I consider a friend that I'm talking to, because normally I don't think I really talk to friends on this podcast. But, you know, that we'll get into that later. And then another first is, I think these are some of the first colored people.
Cancellation.
Dare I say, oh gosh, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the stars of the new film. What would we call this film? What's the genre? Action, buddy comedy, everything under the sun. It's all in this film. Ladies and gentlemen, the stars of Neelan and Kevin. I want to introduce you to Neelan and Kevin, and then some other guy over there.
That would be me.
If you want to get to know these guys, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, say who they are, where they're from, and what they do, and then we'll go from there. Who wants to start? Tell people who you are, where you're from, what you do, and who you are playing in this new feature.
My name is Brendon Daniels. I'm my mother's firstborn, born and bred Cape Townian, raised in South Africa, the most southern tip of the African continent.
Are they?
Yeah, because you get pushed into the ocean.
I went to the Cape Point. It really is. They have a sign
That's my introduction. I know. And Brendon Daniels plays Neelan in the film Neelan Kevin. Now,
oh gosh.
I'm Luversan Gerard. I'm from Pietermaritzburg. That's in KwaZulu-Natal. It's on the other coast, but I'm about 100 km from that coast. And I live in Johannesburg, and I play Kevin.
And he's his mother's second born.
My mother's second born.
Really? I thought you were I thought, based on observation, I felt like you were the youngest. Are you the only boy?
No. I am the youngest. I'm the second born. My brother, her oldest, her firstborn. So you can tell Neelan and Kevin is a movie, because in the movie, Kevin is the mother's favorite.
So you're really acting, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I know nothing about being a favorite. If you ever wondered about my acting skill, that's me acting. Mother's gonna be phoning him.
That means you dug deep for this, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, you telling these people that now you telling on your mother, and you spreading it all the way over here. So when your mother comes, or we meet your mother." Our first impression is going to be that she doesn't like you.
She tolerates me.
Now,
she tolerates me.
First impression.
Yeah.
And we have what now? Are you just naturally a comedian, or what? Like, what's the situation here? Because every time you were on screen, I was laughing. Go ahead. We have one more gentleman here. Introduce yourself.
Are you talking about moi?
Yes.
Let me introduce myself. I come from the theatre school of. I'm trying to score stage work in the States, guys. I've got a lot of accents. I can do a Scottish accent as well. And I can play in the ethnic. Okay. I am Kaseran Pillay. People call me Kez. People call me Kez. People call me Catherine. Mostly Zulu people call me Catherine. I am also like Lou. I'm from KwaZulu-Natal, where my Zulu peeps.
But he's 100 k's away from me. Thank God.
No, he's in the same province, but he's like 100 k's away from the coast. I'm like, I grew up closer to the ocean. I played a sweaty cousin Bobby.
Very sweaty cousin Bobby.
I was like 25 kilos heavier, so I brought that natural sweatiness to the role.
Like Justin Timberlake, bringing sweaty back.
I'm bringing sweaty back.
I was wondering about that. I was like, did they plan this, or is bruh just that moist?
Listen, we don't like to say the word moist in this country. We don't say moist.
Not allowed.
Our girlfriends, sisters, and mothers will not allow us to say that.
Damp.
But the paramedic did say he was a little too moist to be working. And we had to stick his ass down for a couple of shoots.
Oh, gosh. So, okay. Now that we got that part out the way, I don't think we're going to get anything done during this recording, but we're going to try our best.
Good luck.
That's my first question. So, when the idea for this film came along, how did you know that you wanted to do it? How did you know that you wanted to do it with Brendon? And how did you get any work done with you know who?
You can call me Catherine. It's fine.
I'm not calling you Catherine.
So we started chatting about it back in like 2015. We decided, we want to do a buddy cop action comedy, something along those lines. And took another 4 years of talking intermittently, going for coffee, seeing each other when I was on stage, when he was on stage, and then have a chat afterwards and go, we're going to do this. And then 2019, these two worked together in the show. And he called me up and said, yo, it's time we took this seriously and we did this. And I think would be fantastic is if we have Kaseran with us.
Listen, this is going out to the States. We can't make it seem that it's Kaseran. Kaseran.
If we had Kaseran. And do I know him? And I'm like, Kaseran Pillay, you mean the man I cast to play my brother in a movie last year? Yeah, I know him. We've been in a couple projects together. So it was like done deal, we have to have him on screen with us. And then we thought we'd find a way, and then COVID hit. And COVID hit,
that thing.
Okay, it's real. There's no work. We need to do something now.
There's no work. There's no toilet paper. What are we going to
Exactly. So Brendon phoned up in March and he said, listen, I don't care what the movie's about, but it has to be about Tupperware. Literally. He said, that's all I care about. It has to be about Tupperware.
Why did it have to be about Tupperware, Brendon? Like what was the have to with that?
Well, I think it's universal in terms of the diversity that is South Africa, but every South African mother, irrespective of your culture, creed, and color, you want your container back.
Yeah.
So there was a strategy behind it. I needed something that people could identify with in terms of all colors and races, etc.
Yeah.
And then using a very popular genre, which is the buddy action genre. But it was also a thing about us wanting to do a kind of a homage to the stuff that we watched growing up.
Yeah.
But it was also because we physically had to go to the cinema, and that was your point of sale. You only found out what you were watching next week because you saw the
post trailer and the poster.
Exactly.
It was trying to tie into that. But it's also the kind of genre that works well. And the fact that we did set it in the sort of mixed race colored and Indian community was because the globe already follows a very popular Indian-based and driven genres. As Bollywood would suggest. And also it has shown that in local content, that seems to be the go-to for people to frequent cinemas to go and watch film. So I also think it's about the color that is in there, beautiful colors that you get within this community, the music. I've always thought about being a Bollywood actor, you got to be top notch.
Oh no, you got to sing,
dance, smile,
and not sweat. Because you got to do 3 films in a day. I heard the guy will shoot a scene before 10 o'clock. His driver will pick him up. He'll shoot at 12 o'clock on another film, and then in the afternoon he finishes it up. His 3rd film for the day.
In fact, quick side note: Kaseran was offered a very lucrative Bollywood deal until they found out how much he sweats.
Listen,
they ended it.
I think I'd get rid of my sweat glands.
I thought, wouldn't that make you more?
If only Botox had been more prevalent back then. You can use Botox.
Oh my gosh, you all are nuts, and I love it. Okay, so Finding the point of relatability is definitely a good step. I think that when I was watching the film, I felt like it was a callback to some of the buddy situational comedies, buddy cop films and things like that. I felt the nostalgia in the writing itself by making it be this thing where we are following the trail of this Tupperware throughout the movie, and for some reason it never gets to where it's going. That just having that constant threading throughout made me feel nostalgic overall. So I think that was a good call. But what I will say is this. When it came down to the casting and the writing of this film, I want to know, you mentioned that you wanted to highlight, this subset of culture, which you all represent and so on. What was the importance of making sure that you featured colored Indian people in South Africa? Because I will say this is really my first time really understanding and conceptualizing the Indian influence in South Africa, and actually seeing people whose phenotypes read a certain way be speaking totally different and give you a different story that doesn't fit what they look like. All of these are good things, by the way.
Exactly.
But how important was that, and what did it mean to you all? Whoever wants to answer that first.
So for me, I come from a family where both my parents are mixed colored and Indian. So I come from an area where I come from a much smaller town than both of them do. So the colored and Indian communities are a street apart. We all grew up in the same area. It's basically just, different streets. Whereas where Brendon comes from, it's different areas, and the same with Kaseran to some extent. But for me, that mixing was everyday life.
Yeah.
So it was the only way I could write the initial story. That was the world that I know, where colored and Indian people, that's normal. That's your family. You go to a barbecue, you go to a funeral. There's colored people. There's Indian people. You've got Indian-looking people in the colored area. You've got colored-looking people in the Indian area. You've got people who look like they are, not Indian, but are the most Hindu people you've ever met. That's their religion. That's their life. And you never get to see that on screen or portrayed anywhere, because generally the people telling stories come from an area that's just one thing. And they've met people from these areas and they're writing the stories about them.
Yeah.
So
that's why you had such a close connection with it, because it's authentic. It's not, he didn't give the story to someone else to write it. He wrote it from his experiences. And the thing is, even when we read it initially, we immediately spotted how authentic it was, right?
Yep.
That's and I'm imagining that when it comes down to even representation, we're probably not getting a lot of stories like this from your all's perspective. Am I safe to assume such?
Yes, 100%. Because that is indeed why we embarked on it, is because we wanted to see people, not necessarily just in leading roles, but we wanted our communities represented adequately.
Yeah.
And not from a superficial, stereotypical perspective. And I think Neelan Kevin does give us that, because I recognize the authenticity of these characters, but it was also a learning experience for me to get to know that culture. But again, like Luversan said, it's so closely interwoven simply because of we recognize that growing up we shared the same thing. We used to go and hire, back in the day, the whole VHS machine, movies, and that would be a weekend thing. And when he said, but that is the way he grew up, that's when we started connecting the dots. Oh, so when you turn 21, you also have your coming of age in the backyard, with this, like you would refer to the cookout scenario. So yeah, that would be it. The yard is full of people and we're celebrating the person's coming of age. And that is exactly what, and given the fact that I'm 1,000 and somewhat kilometers away from where the person lives, it was quite interesting to see that we share those kind of dynamics.
See, I knew it. The sense is making for me at this point. I get it. Okay. when it came down to casting, who led that up? I know, of course, you went to
That is
Brendon.
me. But after that, I was, you know, look, Luversan, and this is the beauty of Luversan. He is so eloquent in terms of, in his writing, in terms of establishing these characters, these solid three-dimensional characters. That as he was writing, he had people in mind. But I also felt very strongly about the Holbies in terms of casting that group of people, because they also needed to represent a family and a family unit. And even though they're involved with criminal activities, we didn't want to send that up.
They're still a family.
They're still a family, and you had to find the right performers in this country. And I felt that we got the right trio going there, because I know all three personally.
Yeah. In fact, Brendon had called Rosha to ask her to please leave India.
Yeah, because she was in India at the time. And
can you please come home to be in our movie, because we need you.
Really? I mean, that was a good call. That was a good call. That was worth every bit of it. What was it like to write a character like that? Like, did you? To me, with that character, I felt like that we had a performer who, you know, how you write something out, or you have an idea of what you want it to be, right? And then you find that perfect person to bring your idea to life, or make it even more than what you wrote. I think that's what you had in her.
Yeah.
Am I safe to assume that? Because that role.
She went to places that I only imagined that the character would be. But when I wrote her to be unhinged the first time in that first draft, there's that opening scene at the gate, all of that. She was meant to be this unhinged woman that keeps Neelan and Kevin completely off balance. You don't know what's going to happen, who she's going to slap when. Then they're slapping the gate guard and all of that, Julian in the first draft, and then the Matt and all of that. But it was like, I thought there'd be very few people that could do that without sending it up or making it seem slapsticky or,
exactly.
You know, when I watched her do it real life, and she still ad-libbed all the Tupperware stuff, and she would just ad-lib her own bits and pieces whenever she felt like. By the time I got in through that door, I was standing there in awe of what she did, because she brought it to life more than I ever imagined it could be done. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was like,
she stood out. She stood out a lot. She stood out a lot. And it was something where like I said, again, seeing people who you see them, you know, portrayed, see what they look like a certain way. And then you see this woman, it's like, oh, well, she's really beautiful. And then she does all of that. I was like, oh, she's serious. Oh, okay. I want to talk.
I think it's important to also note that Losha also hails from Cape Town originally, which now resides in Johannesburg. But we know those characters on the Cape Flats. They are strong matriarchal figures who sometimes have to run the family business. It just so happens to be within the illicit trade. Yeah. So we grew up with those references. It's not thumb sucking.
And the same as I did in my area back in Johannesburg.
I'm scared of y'all. Y'all grew up. Ooh,
look, yeah. If the husband goes and finds a second family and the son ends up in incarceration, then yeah, somebody's
got to run the business.
It just does.
Someone needs to look after the neighborhood and buy those kids' soccer jerseys, stationery, paper spoons.
I don't even want to think about it. Since we do in Neelan and Kevin, we have two brothers here. Essentially, here's what I will say. I did have my mind made up, and I was like, okay, there's gonna be some buddy cop elements based on just what I'm getting from the trailer. Kevin ain't even a cop. We don't know what Kevin does. Kevin is very much like Tommy from Martin. We don't know what his job is. You know?
Oh, that's a lovely way. Tommy, what does Tommy do?
You ain't got no job.
We don't know what Neelan does.
But wait, what?
Neelan. Neelan got Tommy.
Say You know what I mean. Switch it up.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
We know we're not getting it.
Flip it and reverse it. Neelan, we don't know what he does at all.
He's
Kevin.
very much Tommy from Martin.
Kevin, however, we're going to leave all that in. Kevin, however,
Dude.
is wound up a bit tight.
Yeah.
Is what my grandmother would say.
Well and firmly jammed in there.
He is an actual police officer. What the hell is the Ravens? Is that a real thing or something you made up?
So we have an organization called the Hawks, which is supposed to be like our FBI. So yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Without giving offense, we just came up with the Ravens.
Yeah. So we had another writing team would come on to do a draft of the story, and they introduced that element just as an external organization overseeing the drugs things to get Kevin to come to Joburg, and we kept that the Ravens. We were like, cool.
Okay. I was wondering because I'm not gonna tell you that I was Google searching like the Ravens, and I
Google search the Hawks.
and it kept just giving me a football team. I said, okay, all right, all right. I was wondering. Let's discuss again. So we have a buddy cop film, a situational comedy, but there's also some action here, and I want to speak up specifically about what it was like to shoot those action sequences. Luversan, I did not know you could be scary at all. I didn't know I could take you seriously as someone who was tough until I saw you, doing your thing in this movie. No. Well, yeah. But you got a good stare. Like you're good at you got a good stare down.
Yeah, my jet stare is well practiced.
But the true action star is in this film is Cousin Bobby, and
haven't you seen the movie? He didn't keep his wings.
Exactly. Here's what every scene with Cousin Bobby, I was anticipating like all the BS. You know those. I don't know if you all ever seen film. Well, yeah, I'm sure you have. So films like Friday and stuff where you have
Friday is
you have that character where he's like, bruh, you know it's gonna be some BS with him. First of all, why? I was cracking up because I was like, okay, bruh, he's got a temple. Is this like, what is he? Is he running a salon? What was that? Like, Bobby had a lot going on, but Bobby showed up and kicked ass. So what was that?
That's what Bobby does.
What was it like getting in shape for the role? Tell me.
The thing is that they know they can only come to Bobby in certain situations. Also, they know that Bobby has blown up a little bit size-wise, so he can only fight in like 10-minute spurts. So
10 minutes is too long.
You need to catch him at the right moment. Maybe he's just eaten, he's had his smoothie, and Bobby will pick us up, we'll go kick ass.
Maybe a brick of cocaine went missing, and now Bobby's going to
The van was nice though. The van was nice. I like that. I like that. One of my favorite moments in the movie. So as I'm watching it, and we're just kind of going out of sequence. I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of get them interested in wondering what we're talking about overall, right? So they can go and watch this movie. You got to check this out. But there's a scene where what's the lady who plays your mom? What's her name? The actress. She was like giving it. So, when I'm watching movies from different places, right? I always anticipate like either language changes, reading subtitles, etc. I anticipate all these things. And she was at the beginning, she was running it off. But I was keeping up because I felt like I knew this woman.
That's so true.
And I was right because there's a scene later in the film where she pulls off her, we would just say sandal or flip flop. Yeah. Other people would say chancla. What do you all call it?
That was a sandal.
Yeah, it was a sandal. It was a sandal.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
sandal. Yeah.
So when she took that off, I said, "Oh yeah, I do know this lady.
I
I
do
do."
know this lady.
I was finding relatable things throughout. But if you could summarize the film, and I know this is hard, this is sort of loaded, honestly. If you could summarize the film and sort of sell it or pitch it to someone who, like me, doesn't often get to see colored people on camera having roles like this, just having a good time and telling a humorous story. Just kind of go in on that a bit. Let's start with you, Brendon.
For us, it was fun playing it because for the last, I would say, 10 years, what we now refer to as the, I don't want to use the word marginalized community, which people identify as colored.
Yeah.
Because it's not a controversial term for us in South Africa because of the politics. It's simply by taking ownership of who you are and all of those beautiful things that comes out of your community. So we are proudly there. And so therefore we word it in this, we place it in the word colored. The colored performers in this country seldom get the opportunity to go out and enjoy themselves. They're either called upon for the role of the antagonist and you got to go and play the gangster, or you play the thief or the conflict, for argument's sake, or the nurse, or whatever the case may be. But you wanted a wholesome setup of family, and I wanted the performers to have fun. And it was merely a thing about I wanted my colleagues and my friends in this particular industry to get to play in a piece where we don't feel that there's a heaviness to what it is that we need to represent, other than just go out there and be yourself and give the world a slice of life in terms of this particular community. So in essence, that is what I wanted it to be. And I think Luversan found that within the story that he developed and the characters that he developed, to give the performers then the opportunity to pay a tribute to the generation that came before us in terms of thanks for raising us, giving us this opportunity now that we can represent, but also be and have fun with it. And I think every cast member shared that sentiment, saying they enjoyed working on the project. It wasn't a thing about, oh, I got to bring my A game and I got to stay in it, and this thing is got to. We had fun every day, so, and I think it reads.
Yeah, I was, because every time I was seeing stuff, I was like, I don't know how they got anything done.
And such a short amount of time, and we had fun, because they always tell you, like, you be on certain movie sets or TV sets, and they'll go, "Hey guys, listen, stop all this laughing, because we got this time limit and all of that." We shot this thing in like 15 days, and still had fun and still produced.
Yes.
And I'm sure that would have been a headache too. That just the. I'll go ahead and answer what you're about to answer, but I want to also, after this, discuss the difficulty of actually getting this project done. But go ahead, what you're about to say.
The other thing is that because our communities are so far removed from each other as well, colored people in Cape Town, just the mix of races and the development is different from colored people in Joburg and colored people in KwaZulu-Natal, where we come from. And they don't generally spend time together. So I got to grow up between KwaZulu-Natal and this province with colored and Indian people. So part of this was also to show everyone how similar we are in everything. How, like, colored people in Cape Town thought the whole Tupperware thing was them, that's what they do. And it's all of us across the country. So also, you don't find the colored English actors in the country, because when there's a need for a colored actor, it's for an Afrikaans role. So you never generally see a movie with colored actors speaking English, which also means you don't get a lot of English-speaking colored actors. So in KwaZulu-Natal, you get very few English colored actors in the industry. And then they say, we don't write roles for them because there aren't any actors. But there aren't any actors because no one writes roles for them. So that's what I was trying to do as well. And then again, with Indian actors, you only get called on to play the doctor, lawyer, cop.
Yeah.
The nameless doctor, lawyer, cop.
Or the stereotypical good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
You only
Ding
get
dong, later. Buy some ice cream. They call me Big Worm. Big Worm. Gave you a bit of Friday there, brother. Gave you a bit of Friday there.
You know what's sad? When you did that just now, I literally thought of so many characters that you just were in like that's wild. So I thought of like 16 characters. I was like, yep.
So the other thing was now we have the normal nameless cop, but he's one of the leads. Yes. So you want us to only play those roles? Fine. We'll make those the leads then and show you what can be done.
Yeah, this project, honestly, the fun translates, the fun seeps through. And I think that you have a great foundation for something to build upon further. The goal here, I would say, is with sharing this film and finally, getting an audience to view it, because you all have been working on this thing for so long, right? Would be to start at the basis of the story. The reason I started this podcast here was to accomplish the very things that you all mentioned happened on set. And that is to create conversations across the diaspora, right? And to let people just find a common ground. Like, what do we have in common? If it's Tupperware, and you can relate on that, build on that, because that's usually when something's going to have the most meaning. And oftentimes, especially with the culture of South Africa and then things that go on here in the States, there's a lot of parallels that I don't even think some people even think to converse about, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like if we start to do the same thing you all did on set, start to have these conversations, bringing people together who have commonalities and saying, hey, we can still appreciate all of our differences, but when we bring them together, we make magic. When we bring them together, we make Neelan and Kevin. Like we just make things happen. You understand? And so I get where you are coming from with it. And I think that it comes through very well. So you all should be proud of that. When it comes down to giving advice to people who are going to be looking up to you, people who look like you, people who come from the same places as you, but people who in general want to make their own film. You all did much of this independently, doing all the grinding work, writing it, everything from the ground up, finding all the moving parts, right? You all did it all the way from the ground up. What advice do you give to someone who wants to trek in those filmmaking waters? And we know it's not easy, so don't try to make it sound cute, but what would you say to them?
The important thing is, listen to me carefully. The most important thing you can do is find people you like to work with. These idiots. Oh my God. I'm stuck with them. And I thought, it'll be over now. I can move. No, you're stuck with these people for a long time. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. Do better, kids. Do better. Do better.
What about you, Brendon?
Yes. Look at screwing us.
I live with them. I eat with them. I've got to see them all day, every day. The movie's over. We shot a year ago. Why am I still seeing them? I don't understand. I'm making Christmas plans with Catherine. What the hell?
Do you feel the same way, Brendon? Like
he flies back to Cape Town.
If I could fly back after this interview, I will.
So you not feeling the impact because you in and out. I get it.
Yeah,
gosh.
But again, for us. It was a real need to find a representation, and then, instead of waiting around for people to give us the opportunity, we realized that we had to create it ourselves.
Yeah.
And because we had been waiting around. We've been waiting around forever for representation.
Yeah, but
eventually had to realize it's not coming.
But then again, whose responsibility is
ours?
It is our responsibility.
It is ours.
Yeah.
The problem was it almost felt like we were all standing around for far too long with our hands out.
Just waiting.
And there seems to be that mindset of like, I think it's an apartheid thing of where, what is the world going to give us?
Yes.
And so it was a nice breakout of that kind of mindset of like, no, fuck that, man. We'll do it ourselves. And Lou, Jesus, this dude, yes, he can pull you out of the doldrums. Literally and figuratively.
Not that I was in the doldrums. I'm doing fine. I don't know.
Your mother.
I don't know if you saw me.
I don't know if
you saw my IMDb. I'm actually doing fine.
you like I don't know about it. Speak for yourself.
I think Catherine has more credits than you do. I'm just gonna put it out there. Oh, Jesus.
Oh gosh.
Lord.
What I want to do here is I want to have a bit of fun, but also I kind of want to make you all compete. You get along so well for the most part, it seems. Enough, you at least get along well enough to get a film shot, okay? And do it exceptionally.
Yes.
So
very competitive, but carry
and
on.
still speaking after the project. It's very
you don't find that often, because I'm gonna tell you now, there's so many people I've worked with. After I'm done working with you, don't speak to me. Don't call me. Don't. If you see me in public, do not. Hey, no, you don't know me actually.
Keep moving.
No, that was a circumstantial relationship. I promise you. But I want to play a game here.
I even wrote a role in Neelan and Kevin at one point for TeaRon called the Cowboy.
Oh yeah. That's right.
And he drove an old Ford XR6, which only existed in South Africa. He was our weapons dealer and our bulletproof jacket dealer.
Wait, all the dealers.
Yeah. You were the guy that had
stereotypes.
I had everything that
you see what I'm saying? Oh man, I got these, man.
And I was going to use him in a Shisha's movie as well, in the Queen's Lobola. We were going to write him in there as well, that the cowboy links the two films together.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh gosh. Tell everyone, before we go, where they can like find you, what you have coming up, where they can stream the film, and we'll go down the line here, starting with Kaseran.
Listen, I like that you're being so formal, but now it feels like we're at an impasse.
Oh yeah, definitely. We definitely at an impasse.
Okay, so where can you find me? This is a very difficult thing, because when I go to castings and things now, they ask me for all my social media handles and how many followers I have, and I'll be very honest with you, I don't care. See, people will watch me and they'll go, listen, Luversan has social media profile and footprint. So does Brendon. Go and follow them. They are amazing. And then they will tag me in things and you can come to me. You know what I'm saying?
You can.
I think I may still be on Facebook.
You can find
Check
me in the room next door to mine.
You honestly would be doing great on TikTok. I'm just saying.
I think I should become a TikTok man.
You might have become a TikTok man.
Listen, the manager will talk to you.
I'll sort it out to you. I'll step back. We're getting going on TikTok.
Luversan, what about you?
I'm going to have to teach you how to pronounce that T.
I think we should do it now.
Lu as in toilet, verse as in song, sin as
That's
in...
what I said.
Luversan. It's not Luversan.
You want me to sing it though. See, that's different.
Yeah. There you go.
You want me to sing your name. I said it, but you want me to say, I'll sing it for you.
You gotta sing it.
Luversan.
There we go. It was beautiful.
Luversan.
And from now on, that's the only way you refer to me. You understand me?
Luversan.
I like it.
I like it.
All right.
I want to record that and play that to people when they mess up my name.
Well, I'm scared. I'm scared of you. I saw what you was doing to them boys in that movie. So
no. Please rephrase that. Please rephrase that line.
Oh, the
I saw what you were doing with them boys in that movie.
Oh, that's the clip right there. That's the clip right there. That's the sound bite.
That's the sound bite.
And that's how we go to 5 million.
And that's how we get jailed. That's how we get canceled. That's not how we get viewers.
And then just cut to you, huh?
What did I do?
Oh gosh. Luversan.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you, keep up with you? What you got coming
Find
up?
me on
Where can we watch this movie?
Instagram, Luversan Gerard, Luversan. There's probably only one. The movie is out, unfortunately, only in South Africa on EVOD, which is a streaming service that's only available here, which is free. So anyone in South Africa with EVOD can watch the movie. ETV and EVOD have been amazing. They supported us to make the movie. And, they're helping us tell different stories to the rest of the country. So, so those people from South Africa will get to see this. Please just download EVOD or go to evod.co.za and boom, Bob's your uncle. No, wait, he's our cousin.
I like that. I did like that. Too bad you didn't write it in the script and put that in the movie because that's perfect.
That's for the sequel.
Oh.
I did write Where's the Fire, Mom? So that's fine.
Oh, okay. Neelan and Kevin go to what's the sequel?
The sequel. Neelan and Kevin take on Home Affairs.
Well, I don't know what Home Affairs is.
What?
What is Home Affairs in America?
Like their social security. When people go to the
Department of Social Security,
Yeah.
like your
Neelan and
DMV.
Kevin take on Home Affairs.
Yeah, we take on Home Affairs.
Oh gosh.
You're like the problems you have at your DMV.
Yeah,
that's like the problem.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is I can see Cousin Bobby even working there.
No,
I also saw it. As soon as he said Home Affairs, I'm like,
wig it all, like typing slow, attitude. Oh gosh, Brendon, where can the people find you, keep up with you, etc., etc.?
Well, you need to know this about me. I was born in 1972, so I know him as DOS.
Aibo.
Floppy.
Aibo.
Floppy.
Let's rewind that. Come back. Let's start again. Yeah. He's on Instagram. It's Brendon Daniels.
Flash operate with the floppy disk and with that green cursor flashing.
We heard that about you.
I mean, I was kicking ass at the Atari.
ZX Spectrum.
Commodore 64. Yeah. You had to hook up the keyboard to the TV.
GW Basic Turtle.
It would take a half a day to load for you to play.
Lord have mercy.
But I'm on Insta. It's Bren, BREN .Dan, DAN. And that is the only place that you'll find me on a social platform.
This old Bali.
Listen, okay, if we're being completely honest, I do have an Instagram. It's my name and surname, but like it was there. And like when I was doing a show with him like about 8 years ago, and like my belly wasn't as big, so I was like, hey, I'll show myself out there. So people can go see my pictures I took like 8 years ago. And I'll have this advert on now, so I'll start send me the trailer. The trailer for the movie will be on
please.
Kaseran Pillay.
And listen, if I get more than 100 views, I will continue with that Instagram. If 100 views on that, and you can't go 100 times.
I can't.
Because I know it.
Neelan Kevin is going to do that to you.
Oh. You gonna get
him. It's him who doesn't post. There's nothing wrong with the people. It's him.
You got to post. You got to post your oats. Okay,
that's how you got in trouble the first time.
You had to run away from Kaseran. In fact, baby, if you're seeing this, I'm not coming back.
Wait, what? Oh gosh, I do appreciate each and every one of you just taking the time to sit and chat with me, shoot the shit, and have a good time, really. And I think that what you all are doing, and I really mean this, all jokes aside, because we've been being silly, take this and receive it if you will. I really think that what you all are doing is admirable. And for people like myself who know how hard this thing can be with this entertainment world and these ventures and how they go, I see the full magnitude of what went into this project, and I appreciate it. And I'm glad that I am lucky enough to have seen it. And even though I'm not in South Africa, so I feel special. But to all my South African peeps, if you are watching this, listening to this, however, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube page if you're there. If you're listening to this as an audio medium, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating and review. Listen, if it's not 5 stars you want to leave, go ahead and scroll on to someone else's podcast and don't leave anything. Okay? I would appreciate that. And there are ways to support this show, ways to support this channel. And I do take monetary donations as support for what we're doing here. You can send us a text. If you're in the show notes, click that link that says support the show. If you're on YouTube, there's a little heart with the $sign in it. Click that and see what happens. And yeah, I had a good time. I don't know what I could talk to you all about more stuff, but it wouldn't have anything to do with the movie. And I think we might get in trouble for the rest of it, though.
Oh, there's a lot we can talk about. Let's stop recording.
Yeah.
We're going to stop recording. So, yeah. Neelan Kevin out now, streaming now. If you're watching this, it's already out. Do you all say EVOD or is it just EVOD? EVOD.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. Streaming now. Peace out, y'all.